And always, hey, everybody, how y'all doing? We are live, Matthew Eichmann. Josh Knoll here, Gulf Coast Financial Advisors. I'm coming to you from downtown Fairhope. I'm joined by Matthew Eichmann, the National Practice Plan Leader for Qualified Plan Advisors. Matthew, how you doing?
Josh, I'm good. How are you today?
Well, I don't want to talk like I'm some great technology expert by any stretch, but we are live on 3 platforms right now. We're live on Facebook, we're live on LinkedIn, and we're live on my YouTube channel. So this is kind of cool. We've been figuring this technology out as we've been navigating our 401k series that we put together. And so the reason you and I are going live today is we've got a topic that really applies to a lot of people. We recorded some long form and some articles, blogs, audio, all types of information on our landing page, which you all will see on the banner scrolling below. But we wanted to kind of touch on it a little bit and give everybody a little taste of it so they could go find more additional information there. And that topic is benchmarking, something that applies to a lot of people. So Matthew, if you don't mind, can you kind of help define what is benchmarking and who does it impact at an organization?
Yeah, well, I think that's probably the starting point really is, who does it impact? And it's really common to think of benchmarking as something that only applies to maybe one individual or one department within a company. Perhaps it might be something that, well, benchmarking must indicate we're looking at how many dollars we're spending. So that has to be our CFO or that has to be our controller. Or we're saying, we're looking at, some other facet of how the plan works. So that's got to be somebody in benefits or somebody in HR. And really, when we think about the process of benchmarking a retirement plan, for example, there's really something there for everybody. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons, a lot of different perspectives within an organization where somebody might care about this. And so, Josh, every time that we want to talk about and think about benchmarking, we want to think about how it impacts so many different people. And actually, maybe one other thing I should add to that is if I'm working within an organization and I'm an HR professional, for example, and I know that there's a lot of reasons that we need to take a look at our plan, sometimes it can be hard for me to walk into the CFO, to walk into a controller, to walk into the business owner, to walk into the business owner's relatives who are involved with the business and get them to understand why it's so important. So I think, Josh, that's when we're writing about this or in that long form video you referenced, that's what we're trying to provide is that sort of insight so that everybody has that opportunity to go back within your organization and say there's something here for everybody.
Well, and Matthew, I think how we broke down not just the long form audio, but also the supporting blog material and some of the other related content. We really dive into the how, what, and why. Mm-hmm. And as with a lot of things, the why is always has a outsized importance. So I think when folks, if they take the time to visit our landing page, and you'll see the scrolling again at the bottom, that's gulfcoastfa.com/401k-project. I think they're going to find some piece of information that's going to be relevant to potentially their benchmarking activities or any other activities related around the 401k, around their 401k plan. So with that, also, Matthew, I wanted to ask you any little tease for them before we send them that way? And I'm also going to introduce the webinar.
Well, I think maybe the starting point, as you mentioned, the why becomes so important. And I would think that the people who are listening to us have a lot on their plates, right? A lot of things they're trying to prioritize. And this is the strangest year most of us, if not all of us, have ever experienced. So might be saying, well, wait a minute, why would I move something to the top of the priority list? And I think maybe the tease, if you will, is that although I'm coming at this from an ERISA attorney's perspective, and I certainly will dive into the regulatory and the federal court reasons to make sure you're benchmarking, I think the most persuasive arguments are a better understanding of how quickly the marketplace has evolved and just how much employers right now need to make sure they can look their employees in the eyes and say, hey, we're doing everything for you that we can. And really that benchmarking opens up that possibility, Josh. And so I think that's something I know we dived into in that longer recording and something that's probably the most persuasive reason for a lot of plan sponsors.
Yeah, and I'll give my version of a tease, if you will. We kind of walked people through how this is similar to a health insurance debate. So make sure you tune in. Most people have a pretty decent understanding of how health insurance is structured, how the plan works, what their options are, but they may not realize just how much that equates to how things have changed in the 401k space, and particularly how important benchmarking has always been, but really has has come on. So I want to invite everybody to a couple different things. One, again, if you'll look at the scroll at the bottom, you'll see that is our landing page. That is gulfcoastfa.com/401k-project. You're going to find a bunch of fantastic educational materials there. You're going to see a lot of things that were both contributed by me and also by Matthew Eichmann. And as you heard, he has a background as an ERISA attorney and also is with Qualified Plan Advisors. Plus, you're going to see a webinar registration. Matthew and I are going to be hosting a webinar Thursday. That would be September 10th at 2 p.m. Central. And we're going to be talking about the 5 things that you really need to tackle this year if you have some form of decision-making process with a 401k plan. I really highly encourage you all to tune in there. Bring your questions if you have them, and we will do everything we can to make sure you get good answers. All right, Matthew, before I do a very quick disclosure for a live video, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Well, just the final thing I would say, as you look forward to this webinar on Thursday, once again, we want there to be a little bit of something there for everybody. And so I know we're planning to talk about the CARES Act, and we're planning to talk about the Department of Labor's new electronic disclosure rule, and we want to dive into the importance of better financial wellness for employees. We're going to expand on this benchmarking concept just a little bit. And then finally, I want to get back to basics. I want to talk about the fact that, with all the things on your desks and all the items you have to tackle, this is the time that important things fall through the cracks. And so how do you make sure that over the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months that you have the right foundation in place to avoid that happening? And we'll give you some best practices to allow that to happen. So Josh, to that point, hopefully there's something in that for everybody. And if there's not, hopefully they'll have questions for us so we can make sure that we do.
Well, Matthew, I'll have an opportunity to say this to you again in a public forum, but I feel like I've gone to a master's class in qualified plans the last couple of months that we've been working together. So thank you for that. You've been phenomenal. All right. So folks, very quick disclosure, advisory services offered through Prime Capital Investment Advisors, PCIA, a federally registered investment advisor. PCIA doing business as Prime Capital Wealth Management and Qualified Plan Advisors. PCIA and Gulf Coast Financial Advisors are not affiliated. All information presented is for educational purposes only, is not an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any securities. Video content offers commentary and generalized research, not personalized investment advice, and is for informational purposes only. So with that, Matthew, we're going to end this live video. Appreciate you all that have joined, and we will see you all Thursday, 2 p.m. Central. Make sure you go to our landing page, register for the webinar, and come learn some great things you may not have realized about a 401k plan. Matthew, have a great day.
Great. You too. Thanks, Josh.